Last year, Donald Trump was going on a major crypto campaign saying that on day one, he will fire Gary Gensler.
Day one, I will fire Gary Gensler and appoint a new SEC chairman.
And the crowd went absolutely crazy. And now Trump is getting ready to fire the chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell.
On Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave even if you ask him to.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
And this is extremely important because the Fed needs to act quick with the effective federal funds rate, because what's happening right now, since they've been pausing since January of 2025, is looking eerily similar to what happened from November of 2019 until COVID took place, leading to a massive global crash that wiped out over 60% of crypto investors' portfolios in less than 1 month, leading everyone to wonder, is the Fed about to break the markets again? So in this video, we're going to talk all about that, plus what Trump is saying about tariffs, about China. One of the most important indicators that we need to be watching for Bitcoin that gives us a glimpse into the next move that is coming, not only for Bitcoin, but for altcoins like SUI, HBAR, XRP, and the rest of the industry. So hang tight towards the end of this video. We're going to break down altcoins versus Bitcoin and the two most important things that need to take place in order to see an altcoin explosion. Plus, for those of you guys that have asked us, what is our #1 exchange that we recommend to begin trading crypto on if you want to make money while the markets are going down, they're going sideways, or we're going up and everything is absolutely exploding? Well, before that happens, you need to position yourself properly. So I'm going to share how you can do that in this video. So comment 777 if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, and as always, if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. Most people that are interested in crypto trading don't have the time to manage their entries and stop losses, so they invest with emotion, and that's why they lose. So we have a powerful way for you to make money by directly copying our trades and other successful crypto traders. And copy trading is one of the easiest and most popular ways to make money in crypto. Copying other traders that had more experience than me is how I became a crypto millionaire before 30 when I was new to the industry back in 2016, but I had to manually enter the trades myself, which was super stressful because I didn't understand how to properly set up stop losses or take profits back then. So I ended up missing great entry points or holding longer than I should have, losing out on potential profits. That's why leveraging a copy trading platform that does this for you is the best way to go. And how it works is the exchange will put in the orders for you when you copy another experienced trader. That way you don't have to manually follow the trade alerts or enter or exit trade positions sitting at a computer all day long. And it's very easy to get started with too. All you have to do is go to the link in the description below this video and create your free account, deposit any crypto asset that is listed on the platform, and then choose which trader you like to copy that has the best win rate. And full disclaimer, because we believe in transparency, we do earn a small commission for every trade that you make on the exchange, but that helps support videos like this to help you succeed. And you can also get exclusive access to our top altcoin picks and breaking crypto news updates as well inside of our Telegram group through the link below this video. So check that out. I know you're going to love it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So over the past week, the markets have been making a rebound. Other than some projects like, or Theta, everything's up, 10 to 20%. So towards the end of this video, we're going to dive into the charts specifically for SUI. We're also going to talk about HBAR and what needs to take place for XRP and the rest of the industry to explode. So hang tight, because right now, the European Central Bank is expected to cut interest rates for the 7th time. And yet, as Trump says, too late, Jerome Powell of the Fed, who is always too late and wrong, yesterday issued a report which was another and typical complete mess. Oil prices are down, groceries, even eggs are down, and the USA is getting rich on tariffs. Too late should have lowered interest rates like the ECB long ago, but he should certainly lower them now. Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. And if we look at the euro area interest rates, you can see that they started lowering rates May 31st of 2024 from 4.5 to currently 2.4, whereas the Federal Reserve is keeping the effective federal funds rate at 4.33%. And the reason why I say this is similar to what happened from November 2019 until February is because you guys can see the Fed went from raising rates all the way from 2015 to 2019 for 4 years to pausing rates, cutting rates, and then there's a period where they kept them sideways to see the impact that that would have on the market. And then COVID took place, which was an unexpected black swan event. And then in response to COVID, they had to cut rates rapidly by April 2020 down to virtually nothing. And so low interest rates coupled with quantitative easing, the CARES Act, which was the stimulus checks going out to Americans, was the perfect storm of opportunity for that bull run. And then by February of 2022 to March and April, you guys can see that they started raising rates again, and they went on the fastest rate raising period in history. So we've seen this bull run take place while the Fed has had rates high. Can you guys imagine what's going to happen in the crypto market when the Fed finally starts cutting rates? Now, in my previous videos, I've been bringing this up, which is the Fed Watch tool, showing not only the time until the next FOMC meeting, in this case, it's 19 days and 16 hours, but the expectations for what the Fed is going to do with rates. And so on the 7th of May, the odds have drastically swayed to 90.4% in favor of them keeping rates steady again, which is why Trump made that post and wants to fire Jerome Powell. But by the 18th of June, we can see that 54% are expecting a rate cut. And then by July, the majority are expecting even deeper rate cuts. And then by the end of this year, the Fed should be in full-blown rate cut mode to stimulate the economy. On top of that, if we go to the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System and look at their balance sheet right here, and we go on all, you guys can see how much money they added to their balance sheet from 2020 until 2021. This was the perfect storm of opportunity for that bull run. Low interest rates, quantitative easing, the Fed adding to their balance sheet, them issuing stimulus checks and then sending them out to people. So we've seen this bull run, like I just mentioned, grow to the point that it is thus far from the bear market lows when Bitcoin was at $15,000 to $16,000, while the Fed has kept rates high, while they've tightened on their balance sheet. So we don't have QE, we have quantitative tightening. And if we look over the past 3 months, we can see right here by April 2nd to April 9th, we've seen a little bit of a tick up, but depending on what Jerome Powell says during the next FOMC meeting will really determine if the Fed starts adding to their balance sheet again. Because the only other time that the Fed really added to their balance sheet within the past few years is right here when Silicon Valley Bank collapsed and they had to buy the bad bonds of the bank. So unless there's massive bank collapse, or Jerome Powell shifts his tune, or he gets fired, we need to see the Fed start adding to their balance sheet, or we need to see the government take that tariff money and start dumping it into the crypto market.
You have said in the past that you aren't worried about allies growing closer to China as a result of your tariffs. And this week we saw Chinese President Xi Jinping visit with 3 of our allies. Should you be worried that they're growing closer?
No.
Will you pick up the phone?
Nobody can compete with us. Nobody.
You said that you have a good relationship with President Xi. Why not pick up the phone and call him and make a deal?
Oh, we're going to make a deal. We'll have a deal. I think we're going to make a very good deal with China.
Do you plan to reach out to him and call him?
I think that you will see we'll make a very good deal with China.
And so depending on what that deal they make with China is, we'll see how that'll affect the crypto market. But one of the most important things that we need to look at, other than what Trump is saying, is what's actually happening on the charts, because the stochastic RSI is curling up for Bitcoin, and a bullish cross above 20 could ignite the next big move. So will $80,000 hold, or are we headed higher? See, if we look at Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart on the weekly, we can see right here at the bottom of the screen that the K line is at 16, the D line is at 12, and we experienced a bullish cross by the 7th of April. So we need to see both of these lines cross above 20 to confirm this bullish cross. Now, the last time that this took place was all the way back here on the 9th of September. And you guys can see what happened after that, where Bitcoin broke out to 66,000 and saw one little pullback right here to about 59,000 for this bull flag, and then broke out from $59,000 all the way to $108,000. So is that what's coming next for the crypto market as Bitcoin attempts to recover back into this zone of resistance of about $90,000? Well, if we zoom in here on the daily chart, the stochastic RSI paints a different picture. And this is why it's important to look at different time frames to get confluence of the past. If we look at the K line, it's at 94, the D line is at 91. Now, on the macro, meaning the weekly or the monthly, It's smartest to accumulate when we are oversold below 20 on these key indicators like the MACD, the stochastic RSI, or the relative strength index, and when we're at key support levels to be able to get the best entry points. And for confluence, if we're also oversold on like the daily as well too, and even the hour, it's even more confluence for yourself. So right now, what we need to look at is what's taking place, because with the stochastic RSI for both the K line and the D line above 80, it's somewhat similar to what happened back here on the 13th of September. Just like I guys showed you on the weekly chart right here, it doesn't let me put this vertical yellow line on the 13th. It goes from the 9th to the 16th because these are weekly closes right here. Whereas on the daily, I can zoom in and I could get more technical on these candles right here and see the best entry points during these pullbacks right here. Because as you can see right here on the bottom of the screen, we experienced a bearish cross right here upwards of 90 plus, but we stayed above 80 for an extended period of time. While Bitcoin pulled back from 60K to about 57K, broke all the way up here to 66K, and then saw a massive pullback down here to about $58,000. And that was enough for the stochastic RSI to reset below 20 to signal an amazing entry position if you missed out at around $52,000 down here to be able to enter in right here because we were oversold on the weekly stochastic RSI below 20. And look what happened after that. Bitcoin broke all the way out up here. Saw a few pullbacks on the way up, but inevitably broke all the way upwards of $100,000 after that. So what I would want to see on the daily stochastic RSI is eventually the K line and the D line to drop all the way down here below 20. And what I would expect to take place, which I could be wrong here, but if we're going to keep pushing to the upside, I would expect Bitcoin to face some resistance within this yellow horizontal box right here, roughly around the $90,000 region. And the reason why I say that is because that was a very strong zone of support ever since the 25th of November. You can see multiple points of contact right here. Even when we broke below it, we came back up into it, got rejected once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and now we're pushing back up into it again. So I would expect there to be a rejection from it, for us to see a pullback very similar to what we saw happen right here. And also simultaneously, I'll look at the weekly chart and see if we've experienced the bullish confirmation above 20 because we're currently still below 20 right now on the weekly. So on the macro, great time to accumulate if you have macro patience, but on the daily, we still need to have a little more patience here for confirmation of the best entry point. And for those of you that want to learn how to spot the best entry points in real time, I just want to let you know that we just dropped a new course inside of Altcoin Pro University called the Technical Analysis Essentials. And if you want to see a quick overview of what you'll learn, you can click the link in the description below this video. Check it out for yourself. We have 28 lessons and growing in there. Or you can go right up here to the classroom and you can scroll down and you'll see it right here. You just simply click it. You'll learn everything about technical analysis, like the investing mindset framework, creating your game plan, intro to trading view, customizing your trading view charts, adding cryptos to your watch list, how to set trend lines, horizontal, vertical lines, price range and date ranges, a long and short positions tool as well too, and then everything in between. We're going to continuously add here, guys. And you can see we have so much information, each one of these is a very in-depth video for you to teach you everything that you need to know. So it's very simple to get access to that. Just click the link below. Next to our #1 exchange recommendation, you can also get this free ebook right here. It's called Altcoin Secrets. It's the underground guidebook to learn how to become a crypto millionaire. And we have 23 secrets here to pinpoint explosive altcoins, time your entry and exits like a pro, build a bulletproof portfolio, break free from the rat race by outsmarting the 99%. So it's free, easy to read, it's practical, and it works. Just click the button, put in your best email address right here and click send my free ebook so we know where to send it to. So we've created all these resources for you guys to be able to master crypto trading, master investing, because what's about to come to this market is massive. For example, Ledger, the popular offline wallet to hold your crypto, just said it's official. SUI network is now live on Ledger, live mobile, where you can send, receive, and manage your SUI on the go, anytime, anywhere. Self-custody meets true mobility with Ledger's industry-leading security. So this is really bullish for SUI. And if we look at SUI's price chart right here, sitting at $2.12, we have seen a massive pullback with the rest of the market since the 6th of January for SUI, down still 60% from the high and over 67%. So as you can see right here on the left-hand side of the screen, we can draw a parallel channel. We can just connect the resistances here. And you guys can see this is a very evident downtrend right here. And it's a very steep downtrend forming lower highs and lower lows, So the smartest thing to do here is not enter while we're in this downtrend right here, because we're at this descending resistance and SUI could see sell off lower to the downside. That's definitely possible. We need to look for confirmation on key indicators on the macro, like the weekly. For example, the K line's at 8, the D line's at 5. We experienced a bullish cross on like the 31st of March, but it hasn't confirmed because we have not passed above 20 here, and we have not seen SUI pass a local high of roughly $2.78, which is the resistance and also support back here that you guys can see from, the 3rd of February until it broke below it on the 3rd of March. And then it came back up to it, as you can see right here on this candle wick, if I zoom in here, on the 24th of March and got rejected from it. You see this massive candle pushing it to the downside. And so that's a major resistance right here at $2.78. Another major resistance is at roughly $3.56. So when SUI sees a breakout to the upside, I would expect there to be some form of resistance at these levels, somewhat similar to what we saw happen right here when SUI was attempting to make a recovery. There was massive volatility that led to liquidity flushes like this to the downside to sweep out a lot of leveraged long traders that entered into a descending resistance. So if I clear the chart right here, you can see stuff like this take place, right? If I draw this descending resistance right here, you can see multiple points of contact, one right here, another one right here. You can see it broke through it right here and then consolidated on top of the descending resistance as a launch pad before the explosion to the upside. So eventually I would expect something like that for SUI. So depending on how much lower we go, just because the stochastic RSI is all the way down here below 20 doesn't mean that it's just going to reverse to the upside. It can stay below 20 for an extended period of time while the price finally finds a low. So that's why you don't want to catch a falling knife in a downtrend until you see some type of breakout in a back test like this while the stochastic RSI confirms the bullish cross by passing above 20. And even with the confirmation, as you can see right here, we confirmed it by the 22nd of June, but yet the price got rejected from this descending resistance one final time, comes back down here by the 5th of August, and yet the stochastic RSI is up here at about 32 or 33 for the K line, the D line. So even if you bought at 83 cents, and you watched it drop to 45 cents, you'd be down 50%. But if you're holding from 80 cents all the way upwards of $4, you would have been in profit on the macro. So on the weekly, having macro patience is the key, because you can never buy the exact bottom, no matter how good of a trader you are, and you're never going to sell the exact top. It can be relative. So accumulating at any of these points below 20 in the stochastic RSI, you are buying anywhere between $1.38 for SUI, all the way down to about 57 cents. So you would be in profit accumulating below 20 on the long term. And I think it's the same thing now. At any point from when the stochastic RSI dropped below 20, we are roughly at $4 to where we're at right now. In the long term, whether the price goes lower, consolidates sideways, I do think SUI is going to experience a breakout when the Fed finally makes a pivot, lowers interest rates, adds to their balance sheet, issues quantitative easing, and a deal is struck for these tariffs. So you just have to be careful here, because the next breakout that takes place, I think it's going to push Bitcoin up in this resistance right here, and then we're going to get rejected, and we're going to watch Bitcoin's price chart and see what happens with the stochastic RSI. And I would bet that the stochastic RSI will eventually break down below 20 for Bitcoin, and SUI will experience a pullback as well too to the downside before a reversal to the upside. So we still have some time here. I think there's going to be better entry points for SUI in the near term, even with a breakout coming soon. So do not get faked out by this next breakout. I think it'd be similar to what happened right here for this breakout. What I would wait for is a breakout and a back test of this descending resistance and potential liquidity sweep to the downside before we see a reversal to the upside. Now, also another project that I'm keeping on my watch list is HBAR. It ranks #1 for project development activity, and it is up 394%. So Hedera devs are cooking right now compared to the competitors like Multiverse X, even the XRP ledger, IOTA, Flow, Mina Protocol, and a few others. And if we look at HBAR's price chart right here, it's looking similar to the others, where we can see the stochastic RSI on the weekly is down below 20 at 8 and 4. And also we are back testing, just on quick glance here, a major resistance and a major support from the past. So as you guys can see, this was a major resistance on the 4th of March. It was a major support back here in May of 2021, June of 2021, and July of 2021 before the bull market peak. And so this is going to act as the zone that HBAR needs to hold before the next major breakout, fake out, and reversal to the upside, just like I showed you guys with SUI. So these charts are all moving together, although the charts look different on the macro because some of them launched after others. Like HBAR has been around a lot longer than SUI. As you can see, if I zoom out here, SUI launched on Binance here on the 1st of May of 2023, whereas HBAR, the chart goes all the way back to 2019. And so SUI's chart only starts on May 1st of 2023. So if I just trace up HBAR's chart from May and put it on SUI's chart right here, you guys can see that the price action is pretty similar from the breakouts, the pullbacks, breakouts, and now we're just going through another pullback right now. So when the tides rise, so do all ships, because we just see liquidity get injected into the industry as a whole. So HBAR is just going to move based on what Bitcoin does, and Bitcoin's going to move based on what the Fed does and what Trump does and what M2 global liquidity does. So the key zone of support right here at roughly 12 cents to where we're at right now is where HBAR needs to hold. Otherwise, if we just keep bleeding out like this and selling off even further, then the next zone of support for HBAR is all the way down here at like 9 to 10 cents before we see a major bounce. So what I like to see for HBAR is some type of bounce to the upside with Bitcoin and a potential rejection when Bitcoin gets rejected from 90K. And then also the stochastic RSI to see a bounce to the upside. Sometimes when we see this first bounce, we see that be a fake out. For example, like all the way back here, in June of 2024, when we experienced a bullish cross, we saw this bounce right here. It was a fake out, and then we dropped for another time before the bullish cross and then a reversal to the upside. And what that looked like on the price chart was a bounce right here, and then the price bottom out, find a low, and then reverse to the upside. So we could see that happen for HBAR before we see a reversal to the upside coming over the next few months. So I'm a little cautious on longing HBAR anytime soon because I just think it's going to take some time to get out of this range. But as I just mentioned at the beginning of this video, you guys can actually get started with the #1 exchange below. You can start with as little as $100 and deposit that in any currency. And you go to the copy trading section right here, click on all traders, and then you could sort based on ROI over the last 90 days, 30 days, or 7 days, or profit and loss as well too. And you can see which traders are the most profitable to be able to copy their trades. And if you already have experience trading yourself, then this is by far the best exchange to be able to leverage trade, to be able to long or short the market if you know what you're doing. They got tons of different cryptocurrencies on here, including XRP, because a lot of people that come into the space ask us, where can they get XRP? Well, that's through the link in the description below. And speaking of XRP, I was just up in Fort Lauderdale at Valuetainment Cigar Lounge, and I found this video right here of him talking about XRP. Have you guys seen this yet?
For someone that doesn't want to specialize in this, it is something you have to pay attention to. Here's why. Let's just say XRP decides to, all of a sudden, they replace SWIFT. Let's say that happens. If XRP replaces SWIFT and FedNow, you know what happens? Let me give you some numbers here. XRP's ledger processes transactions in 3 to 5 seconds at nearly no cost, making it significantly faster and cheaper than SWIFT. So SWIFT processes $5 trillion daily, or 1.25 quadrillion annually. If you didn't know what that was, quadrillion annually, SWIFT. If XRP captures 5 to 10% of volume, let's just say 10% of volume, $125 trillion annually. The demand for XRP, by the way, it could be any of these other technologies we're talking about. Analysts estimate that a $10 trillion market cap could push XRP's price to $100 per token, with full replacement potentially driving it up to $1,000.
So for XRP to go to $100 to even $1,000, there's going to need to be massive amounts of liquidity flowing into the market. So looking at the chart at the top of the screen, you guys can see total 2 compared to Bitcoin. This basically shows how all altcoins are performing in comparison to Bitcoin. It's just like doing the ETH to the Bitcoin price chart or XRP to the Bitcoin price chart that I've shown you. So altcoins have been underperforming Bitcoin since September of 2022. At the bottom of the screen, you guys can see Bitcoin's price chart. So ever since, November of 2022, when Bitcoin to December, when Bitcoin bottomed out, we have been in this massive uptrend right here in this bullish channel, whereas altcoins have been in a bearish channel. And as you can see, we saw that happen last bear market right here when Bitcoin crashed and everything crashed. Altcoins underperformed Bitcoin for a period of time until Bitcoin started to top out between March and April of 2021. Then the altcoin market broke out from these levels right here from the 22nd of March all the way until the 17th of May. So very, very quick, our altcoins exploded to the upside. But as you can see right here, from the 17th of August of 2020 until December of 2020, altcoins bled out from Bitcoin. When Bitcoin broke out from $9,000 upwards of $40,000, the liquidity went out of altcoins and it went into Bitcoin on that major breakout. And so we haven't really seen a breakout like that because that was the liquidity induced breakout for Bitcoin. Not necessarily coming from TradFi, but coming from the altcoin market. It was a sentiment shift as well too, because when stuff in TradFi, traditional finance, takes place, it creates massive FOMO, fear of missing out, or fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the crypto market, and then people act accordingly. So in this case, they sold their altcoins, they moved it into Bitcoin because TradFi was talking about quantitative easing, the CARES Act, and so everyone started to dump it into Bitcoin. Bitcoin moved first, and then when Bitcoin's dominance fell, that's when altcoins broke to the upside. So I believe Bitcoin's dominance needs to fall after Bitcoin breaks to the upside. So I think Bitcoin will go first on the next major move, and we could see altcoins bleed out a little bit more because we've been in this downtrend for a period of time. So even in the short term, if we see a bounce for altcoins, we need to see this downtrend end, and we need to see altcoins break this descending resistance that it's been in since 2022. Until that happens, Bitcoin is going to continuously suck liquidity from the market. But on the good side, on the macro here on the weekly chart, the total 2 versus Bitcoin chart on the stochastic RSI, well, is at 0 and the K line's at 1.11. So we are very, very oversold. We are due for an alt season. And in order for an alt season to take place, we need to see Trump fire Jerome Powell and start cranking up the printing press, baby. So if Jerome Powell stays in office, he needs to come out and say they're adding to their balance sheet again. Interest rates are going lower. They're done with quantitative tightening, and they're going to be backing up their truck all the way to the bank, grabbing the bags, packing them and stacking them, leaving no bags left behind, because the spending power of the dollar is just going to keep going down in value. The more that they print money, no matter what they do, inflation is going to stay around their 2% target, even though it'll fluctuate. It's higher than 2% right now. So that's going to keep eating away the dollar. And that's just going to cause smart investors like yourself to flood over to the cryptocurrency industry, where blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, and a select few altcoins are going to absolutely explode. That's the truth. So I will see you guys in the next video. To get our free ebook called Altcoin Secrets, click the link in the description below right now. Put in your best email address so we know where to send it, and watch the video on the other side. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.